Hello? Ellen? Ellen DeGeneres? Hi, how'd you get my number? No, I know I was supposed to call about a month ago, but I wanted to start my coaching business and just pursue my own dreams. So I know this is probably the worst mistake I'll ever make. Okay, well, I just can't help you. I can't build your dreams. I have to build mine. So, okay. Well, it was great talking to you. Thanks. Okay, so that's not how it went down, but I did get an opportunity to potentially work at the Ellen DeGeneres production team, digital team. So let me take you back. About a few months ago in October of 2019, I was kind of just hitting like a funk in my brand. I really didn't know what direction to take it. I was doing a bunch of social media strategy and videography freelancing gigs, and I was just like in a funk. And so I thought, well, I need a little bit of ego stroke. So let me see if after like a year and a half of being my own boss, if there's companies out there that still would hire me. Mind you, my background is in television. I worked on a few television shows in the digital media department, and that's kind of how I got into being my own boss in the digital media space. But I still thought, after like a year and a half of being my own boss, I doubt they would even consider me. But I applied anyways. And this was like the only job position that I applied to because I was like, I kind of just like want to see if I get it or not. A few days later, after applying, I got a phone call and an email, and they set me up with the first interview. And when I interviewed with the Ellen DeGeneres team, the producer who was interviewing said, quote, "I am a big fan of your work." What? Of my work? Like my videos? Like what would Karla say? Like Karla Gregg videos? Or like my client work? Because he didn't see any of it. He was talking about my personal brand. He was a fan of my personal brand. Okay, Karla, calm down. Fangirling for a moment. Whew, but that was so exciting. Like Ellen DeGeneres was a fan of my work? What? Stop. Okay, back to the story. But before I hopped on the interview, before I got that amazing compliment, I got on a call with my business coach. And it was the first session that I had with my business coach. I was super excited that I was finally working with a business coach. This meant that I was gonna figure out my business life. I mean, I had it pretty together for a year and a half, but for some reason, as entrepreneurs, we're always needing some type of validation when I guess things aren't going as completely planned. And at that time, I just felt a little lost in my personal life, and that kind of trickled into my professional life. And anyways, I get on this call with my business coach, and she has me kind of map out everything that I want in my life, like in the next 6 months. So she literally had me write down from like the morning that I woke up to when I went to bed. And I was like, okay, in the morning, I would wake up, have like a nice shake, some Bible time, I would work out, and then I would make a video, upload the video, work on like my client work. Then I would go to like a public speaking gig. I would have time to like network and hang out with like people in the industry. And then I'd go to my hotel and it would start over. And this would be like my life, and it would be amazing. Maybe, I don't know. That kind of seems lonely now that I think about it. But I envisioned my life, and she asked me, where does Ellen DeGeneres fit into this schedule? And I'm like, I mean, she's Ellen DeGeneres, I'll make time. But then I realized like I was second guessing my abilities as a content creator, as a social media strategist, as a coach, as a person. I was second guessing myself. So after my call, I just start busting out in tears. And I'm like, what am I doing? Why do I not believe in myself right now? I've been doing this for a year and a half. Why now that it's getting so good, am I holding back? I felt that the only way to succeed was to hold on a title like, oh, I'm a digital media producer for the Ellen like digital team. That sounded really cool, but I was trying to hold on to this title because that's what I was prior. Oh, I was a social media producer for NBC. Cool, but like, how awesome is it that I can say I'm my own boss and I built my own personal brand? So anyways, I just started busting out crying because I'm like, why am I so scared? Like I teach people to let go of fears, and here I am being a big chicken. I get on the call with the Ellen show, but before I do, I'm like literally wiping my tears, like slapping my face, throwing water, putting on makeup. I just had to look like I was not crying 5 minutes before the Ellen DeGeneres job interview, which was like my dream since I was a kid working on this like show. So I get on the call. That's when he compliments my work, that he loves my work, but like, Karla, don't grow your head too big. Anyways, so I get off the call and it goes really well. Mind you, in October, like I had a super busy month. I was going to New York City to just discover my faith. If you guys haven't seen that video, check it out here. And so I was going through a lot of like personal things, getting kind of geared up for that trip. And then after that, I was gonna go to Los Angeles for a video convention with a bunch of YouTubers and entrepreneurs. And I was super excited for that. And on top of that, I had to go to Thailand, like right after. So I had a lot on my plate, but it was exciting stuff. And so the producer was like, look, I know you're gonna be out of town for a few weeks, just like take your time, because we're kind of like building up this position, but like in the next like month, like we want you to stay in contact with us, and like in the next 3 to 4 weeks, like reach out to us. I didn't reach out to them for that second interview, and I just kind of like let time pass by, because during that time, I went to this like video convention, and I was like asking all my YouTuber friends, like, what should I do? Should I take this job? Like, I'm doing really well in my brand, but like I'm scared. But this is when I knew that like, you just have to follow your intuition. I mean, the fact that I cried before like an amazing interview, and then I was kind of second guessing myself on this decision, if like, should I take this second interview? So from Los Angeles, from this video convention, I drive back home, and on my way home, I'm like Lyft driving, trying to make that money, you know, side hustle. And I pick up this couple. This couple used to go to my church. I never met them before, but we like connect, because I'm like, oh my God, I used to live in Los Angeles. And they're like, what, where, Burbank, what? So we figured out that we went to the same church. And before like literally minutes before I picked them up, I prayed to God. And I don't really pray to God about things that I really want, which I probably should get better at. I've been praying about my husband all my life. Where is he? I don't know. Anyways, Karla, personality is coming out. So anyways, I picked them up, right? But like, so I pray before, and I'm like, God, just like, if you can give me the most clear sign in the world where it's like mind-blowing, creepy, scary, where I'm like, what? God actually answers your prayers? Like, duh. Can you please, like, I know this is such a stupid ask. There's so many people like going through things in the world, and I'm over here deciding if I should take the second interview at the Ellen DeGeneres show. What? So I pray, right? And like my prayers actually sound like that. I'm like, dude, God, right? So I pick up this couple, and we connect about living in LA. They used to go to my church, and I start telling them about the Ellen show and how like I have a second interview and I just like have to accept it. And they were like, no. And I'm like, why? This is like an amazing opportunity, right? Help me. And the lady was like, no, like I actually just declined a job at the Ellen DeGeneres show or whatever, because they don't treat their employees right, and I've heard really bad things. And like, mind you, I don't know Ellen, so I'm not going to talk about anything of that sort, but she was just so clear about like the reasons, why she did not want to take the job interview, and how I should run the other way and really pursue what I want and all of that good stuff. And it was literally like the words that I needed to hear in order to say, oh my God, this is not for me. So right after that, I go to New York, I figure out my faith, I come back, I'm like, okay. And at this point, I'm kind of feeling really stupid for letting go of this opportunity. And so I do email them, and I'm like, hey, I'm back. But like, mind you, I didn't email them until like a little over a month. It's almost like going into 2. And at that point they had like closed the position. I don't even think they hired anybody, but it was insane because I just knew that it was not for me. I guess it was a major ego stroke, because I'm like, wow, people would still want me to be a part of their company. Like at that point I was like lacking self-confidence, and I'm like, Karla, you're like this jack of all trades who like knows nothing. It's not a master at none. Like, what are you doing? You do videography, you do social media, you do this, you do that. You're into YouTube, you're into podcasting. Like, what are you? And in that moment, I realized that a jack of all trades is a leader of many. And the fact that I was going to get hired potentially at the Ellen DeGeneres digital team to be a manager of all of these brands for Ellen, like little old me, I guess it was like a win. But at the same time, I realized like I need to give myself an opportunity. And it's been a little over 2 years that I've been my own boss, and things are going great. I mean, at this point, I just need to move forward. And I'm not saying that jobs are bad. I'm not saying that Ellen is bad. I'm not saying that full-time jobs suck. None of that. I think that the point of this entire video is that you have to follow your intuition. And maybe 5 years from now, I might want to be the producer of like the Oprah Winfrey Show. Or maybe I'll have my own show. Hey Oprah, she's on my drink board over there. Anyways, the point of this is follow your intuition. If you are literally like going over and over in your head and you have this like gut feeling like, should I do this? Should I not? Should I? Why? Like, I know that we do have to sometimes lay down everything on the table and say, okay, like maybe I should take this opportunity because I need the money or whatever. But if that's not the case for you, really, really, really follow your intuition. I mean, literally always follow your intuition, because from the moment that I got off that Zoom call on the first interview, I knew it was not for me. And I was like almost trying to force it until I finally just like broke free and was like, not doing this. So yeah, that was the time that I decided to not reach out to the Ellen DeGeneres show until a month and a half after to follow up, but it was too late because I definitely just was like, I'm going to Thailand and New York and then I'm gonna come back and say that maybe I'm gonna take the job interview. Is it still available? But inside of my heart, I was like, this isn't for you, Karla. This is not for you. And if you guys are into pop culture and following up news, you know everything's going on with the Ellen DeGeneres scandal. I have nothing to say about that. I don't know Ellen. I can't comment on that. But I guess during this time, I'm really glad that I'm not a part of that company and things just worked out for the best. And God listened to my prayer, my really, really weird prayer. Anyways, I hope that you guys go out there and live well and be bold. If you have not heard, I have a podcast. It's called Live Well, Be Bold. And it's all about living your best life and trying to better yourself emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually, and just become better than you were yesterday. I have guests on the podcast, and then I do solo episodes. The solo episodes are definitely more of like that like transparency and raw feeling type of Karla. So if you guys like that side of me, go subscribe to the podcast. And if you guys like to be encouraged by other stories, go listen to the episodes with some amazing guests that I've had on the show, including some of my best friends and also people that I've never met before and have just been people whose stories I've connected with online. So anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, whatever time it is when you're watching this video. I will talk to you later, and that is what Karla says. What would Karla say? Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm never gonna have an outro, and that is okay. I've been on YouTube for a long time. All right, guys, bye.